Hi everybody, this is Sherine Monir with Compass and welcome to another episode about real estate. And today we're going to be discussing Q2 of 2021. Normally in Q2 is the normal that we get a lot more transactions, a lot more activity, a lot more listings, and nothing is different this year as well in our Q2 of 2021. As usual, we are going to be discussing Washington D.C., Virginia, and then Montgomery County. So let's take a look at Washington, D.C. and what happened in the past 3 months. And when I say the past 3 months, it's going to be April, May, and June. So let's take a look at the active new listings in Washington, D.C. In April, we had 1,678. In May, we had 1,462. And then in June, we had 1,625. The sold homes in April were 1,090. In May, we had 1,047. Finally, in June, we had 1,138. The inventory, again, it increased. We had an average between 3 to 4 months worth of inventory. And then finally, the number of days on the market, it is 23 days on average. If I'm looking at the average sale price, in DC in April was 791,501. In May it was 839,234, and then finally in June it was 884,480. Now in Virginia we are going to be looking at Alexandria City, Fairfax County, Fairfax City, Falls Church City, and then finally Arlington County. So the active new listings in Alexandria City, 433 in April, 362 in May, 428 in June. Fairfax County, we had 2,675 in April, 2,510 in May, 2,578 in June. Fairfax City, we had 58 in April, 61 in May, and 61 in June. Falls Church City, we had 30 in April, 23 in May, and 37 in June. Arlington, we had 517 in April, 494 in May, and 504 in June. So now let's take a look at the sold homes. It was 300 for Alexandria City, it was 315 in April, 308 in May, and then 313 in June. Fairfax County, we had 1,869 in April, 2,012 in May, and then 2,253 in June. In Fairfax City, we had 40 in April, 38 in May, and 53 in June. Falls Church City, we had 18 in April, 16 in May, and 26 in June. Finally, in Arlington, we had 358 in April, 328 in May, and 370 in June. On average, when it comes to inventory in all the counties and cities we were talking about in Virginia, you're talking about anywhere between 2 to 3 months worth of inventory. Again, that's a huge increase from Q1. Average days on the market, we're talking about anywhere between 10 to 20 days on the market. Again, that's an increase in days on the market from Q1. Finally, we are going to be talking about Montgomery County and the active new homes that was listed in April was 1,922. In May, it was 1,853. Finally, in June, it was 2,001 that were listed. The sold homes were in April 1,439, in May 1,466, and in June 1,722. The inventory on average was 2 months worth of inventory, and finally average days on the market were between 14 to 17 days. Again, we have an increased inventory from Q1, which for buyers, that's great news. Still a seller's market, but at least you have more inventory. And as usual, if you're thinking about selling or buying, please don't hesitate to contact me. And if you like what you see, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sherine Monir Compass.